Friday's always a end of the week energy day. Loves trucks. Any car. And our coffee machine broke this week, so. Does the school drop off, and then he goes into the office, and then I meet him there. So we just kind of share out drop offs and picks up as much as we can around work and training and things like that. And I do one session on a Friday, which is strength conditioning. Get out of the CG world to train in and go to another gym, and it just lets me kind of focus on me for a change rather than being the boss and everyone wanting to talk to me or have conversations. So it's a really cool gym. The facilities are excellent. I've actually been going there for 9 years. Can you give us a kiss? Daddy take you to school? I love you. Have a good day. People will want to know that I'm fighting again. So in about five and a half weeks. So this would be first fight since November 2019 over in Melbourne on Rebellion, and then obviously COVID hit and no one knew what was going to go on with the fighting. So I had 2 fights booked in. Everything was cancelled, the borders were obviously shut. A lot of the pros and athletes around the world basically just lost all competition. Obviously had Bub, started training again and just loved training, and I think it was because in my mind I was like, I'm probably not going to fight again, it's just for fun now. So there was no pressure to be a certain someone, or there was no pressure to eat a certain way or move a certain way. It was just kind of to get fit, have fun and move some post-baby weight, and there was a lot of that. I felt like everything fell into place because I didn't care as much. We did that Girls Fight Back event late last year to raise money for breast cancer, which was insane. So we raised $25,000. And 140 girls participated in it, which is something I'm really passionate about, is females in Muay Thai or just sport or moving their body. So I did it, we jumped in last second against an amazing fighter. And I was like, oh no, here we go, I'm getting itchy again. A girl I know, Nakia in Queensland, she is the promoter of the show that I'll be fighting on. She's also a mum of 2, has a gym, so we're very similar. She was like, oh, do you have any names for this show? And I was like, ooh, do you have anyone for me? She was like, oh, of course. So she gave some names, and I think that was 10 weeks ago. Then Nakia had her comeback fight after her baby, which was huge. She did really well. She didn't win, but it was a big fight. So I was like, I just feel like I need to do this fight for me a bit, because when you own a business, it's always about everyone else, their goals, their fight. And in a way, I needed to do this just to enjoy the sport a bit more. Like, I don't want to do it to, like I did last time, to try and get to like Aussie champ or whatever it is. It's just about like being present in the moment. And it's been really good so far. Like, the gym's changed so much since COVID because so many people just like lost their momentum. We've had heaps of people leave, heaps of people come into the team, and I just feel like the team is so good right now. Like, there's less ego, we're working better together, and this is like the first step of the team coming back together into competition. So with training, I always train like all year round, and it's not to fight, it's just purely because I love being fit and healthy. And that's a big thing for me, especially like with the clients. It's like consistency is everything. There's no point like coming in absolutely like overtraining, getting injured, getting sick, and then dropping off. So after Barb, I've always just like done my like 5 to 6 sessions a week, nothing over an hour, just like keeping it short and sharp. And before I knew it, my body was like pretty ready to go into like a more intense like fight camp. I hate that term, but and then from there, now we just add things. So add runs, make the sessions a little bit longer. But I suppose this is my first fight being a mum, and everything is different. Like, now I have a son to put to bed. He goes to school, I have to pack like 3 bags just to get him to school. Some nights he just won't sleep. So my training looks so different to what it was. And at first, like, trusting that training was going to be enough was like quite a mental battle, because I'm training away from like the fight team a lot by myself, like during the day, or with Pamon or my other pad holder Tommaso, who's incredible. A bit of maturity to say, like, I've got to trust the process a bit, and just wake up and know, like, some days I'm like absolutely exhausted because Björn decided to wake up all night with a tooth coming through, and I've just kind of got to do it anyway. And then obviously managing like the 3 gyms is definitely a challenge, and that's why we have amazing people like Helen. Bit of a plug. Pretty funny. Well, I think it's pretty funny. The group of friends that we had at the time, we were just like out partying. I share this story a lot, but like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night even, I was at uni and I was working part-time. And I went from being like a pretty athletic girl at high school to just like living the party life. And from there, I kind of just like lost myself a bit. And it's so easy to happen, like we all do it at uni. I gained quite a bit of weight, couldn't fit my clothes, obviously couldn't afford to buy any more clothes because that's what happens at uni, especially when you're partying, you spend it on other things. And then my friend got into Muay Thai, who was in our party group, and he lost, I'd say like 30 kilos. And there's this photo of him, and I think it's a before and after, and it's just like, is that photoshopped? Like, he looked that good. And I was like, what are you doing? He told me it was Muay Thai, and I was like, Muay Thai? Like, how do you even say that? Like, no joke. I'm from a very like Australian European family, so I'd never like had a curry or anything like that, which is really funny because now I'm married to a half Thai person. So that was like a whole new culture. So I went to one gym, got a bad vibe. It was like real male, like so much male. So I went to another recommendation, which was Pamon's dad's gym. And then I started training, but Pamon wasn't actually at the gym. He was living in the country, so I had no idea who he was. And I trained for about a year until I actually met Pamon. So his dad was my first coach, you could say, which is funny. And I slowly started to lose a lot of weight, but I was still partying and at uni, so I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a fighter, this is it, like my world's changed. It kind of was a slow transition, but I think it got me away from my party friends. Like, it gave me some new friends that were like a little bit healthier. And then I decided, look, I really want to fight. Like, this is really cool. Like, the girls that fight, so amazing. Like, they're just like these incredibly strong, inspiring women. So I actually did the Girls Fight Back event that I organised last year. That was my first kind of mini fight. It's not a fight. And I was like, yes, I need to fight now. But it was never for me, like I think I'm quite intrinsically motivated. Like I like to improve on my technique, learn, get better as a person over like the belts or the titles or the trophies. I hate being in front of crowds and they're like, oh my God, you did so well. I get fulfillment when I know deep down in myself that I've improved. With fighting, like no opponents are the same. So my last fight was with Som, and she's a super technical girl. And I'd like to say that like I really get challenged with her style. So improving against certain styles like that is like really important to me. Fighting is the biggest metaphor for everything in life, because you can literally like train the house down, try your best, do your best, and it can pay off, and that's obviously like the ultimate goal, but it can also like not pay off. And I think that's what people forget in life is like nothing's perfect and there's always someone that's better than you, and you kind of have to be okay with that, because I've seen so many people, especially like really talented people who have a lot of undefeated fights, they just fall to pieces after. But I always use that metaphor in like business, because we obviously like work really hard, but it doesn't mean it's going to pay off. It just means you kind of can't quit. I think that's an important thing. When I met Pamon, I obviously lost heaps of weight, and all the girls were like, I want to do it, but it's uber intimidating. Like, I just don't feel right doing like what you do. So we did like a ladies only class, me and Pamon. We were together by then. And I think it was like a Tuesday and a Thursday at 6:30. I'm just going to say that. And it just sold out in like weeks. And all these girls just like coming in. It was called like Ladies Kick Fitness. And would play like heaps of Beyonce and like do heaps of abs and bum and like heaps of kicks, which girls love because they're really good at kicking. I was like, why don't you just open your own gym? Traditional Muay Thai, which is cool, but I just don't think it's like for everyone. Like a 2-hour class for most people is just too long, and we really just wanted to make it available for like everyone. So then I drove past Highgate, which was for lease, but it was a smaller space upstairs, and then from there I think it was like 3 months later and it opened. We had like no money, none, like literally just like pulled it all together with what we had. And I was working full-time for a mining company in HR. So I was like kind of like doing classes before work, going to work, working like 8 to 10 hours a day, coming back and like training or doing classes myself for a good 2-year period. We both love Muay Thai and boxing and strength. And that's all we knew at the start of it. So the business was like doing well on the outside if you looked at, like it was busy, we had really good community and clients, but we actually didn't know anything about business. So there were definitely times where our accountant was like, I think you should just go work for someone else. Like you'll get paid more money and not have to work all this time. And that made us like grow again, and like that mentality of fighting is like you can do everything, but it's not always going to pay off. So this is a gym called Shredded, and I train with Chris twice a week, so Tuesday and a Friday in the mornings. I actually used to train with Marty, one of the owners, for a long time. I've had 2 ACL reconstructions, so going and doing strength is like really important to make sure that my knees stay in place and don't fall out again. They're not the most exciting sessions, but they're very good for me, and I can't stop going. And it's usually like a 45-minute session. Do a bit of a warm-up. I try and just troll Chris as much as I can. So he's starting to pick it up now because he obviously knows I have a fight coming. But yeah, he's been programming for about 3 years with me. And then before that, it was Marty, the owner, but he's obviously super busy being the boss man he is. Kelly.
We're going to get some kick butt footage of Whit today. Question for you, actually.
Yeah.
You know you gave me those pink shorts a long time ago.
Yeah.
I want to frame them.
Yeah. Do you need a frame
up on the wall?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I've got a frame.
Yeah.
I want a picture of you.
Oh.
So do you want, and we can maybe write champion.
Yeah, okay.
You can write a message for the show and then champion.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
And then it's like a
Do you know I've nearly been here for 10 years? I was 24 and I couldn't even lift a 4 kilo dumbbell. Train every night with the team, but a big priority of me is like being there for Björn, especially like he's still very young, so I don't want to miss like those special moments with him, like getting him into bed, like reading his books, because I suppose in a way like fighting's my goal and everyone else around me has to sacrifice, so I try to like minimize that. Where can I sacrifice my time with him? And then where can I add it in somewhere else? When you compete, you have to be really selfish, and it definitely takes its toll on your relationships. So it was like a very good conversation me and P had to have, is like, can we do this? Where in our life is going to drop off for a short period of time? How can we still get the same goal without just like changing things? I think that's really important, is like being on that same page. Like he really loves watching me fight and getting me ready. He's my coach, we run a business together, we're now parents together. So I think like knowing where he fits in is really important, because if we have like a good session together, I'm tired after, then like the husband Pamon misses out, or like him and Björn miss out when I'm really tired on a Sunday or I need to go get a massage. It definitely like sets his soul on fire, but there's pros and cons to it, 100%, yeah. He definitely misses out on like me as his wife, like that comes last, which would be normal for like any athlete or anyone doing anything on that level. He misses that a lot, especially we're just so tired, we're not eating, we're cutting weight, we're on like a calorie deficit. He'll get me, but I'm just like, the lights are on but nobody's home. We laugh about that quite a bit, and it's only temporary. It's like a 6-week thing, but it definitely plays its toll if they're back to back. So like before Barbie, if I was to do like 3 or 4 fights a year, that's like a good few months of me just being like a selfish person. And I have to be so mindful that like this is my goal and I've chosen to do this, and I can't really just make him suffer because of it. But he's so amazing, like he's so supportive and everything like that. Even just like in marriage, like not just for people that are competing, it's like having a date night, it's like this is our night, I don't train, going to see a movie, having a dinner, having a difficult conversation. Like so many people don't want to have difficult conversations. And that's something I've had to work on, is like being brutally honest. It's like, you may not get like the super romantic, affectionate Whitney much in the next 6 weeks. Are you okay with that? Because I don't want to be like 3 weeks in and him getting, grumpy at me or anything like that. Knowing our schedule, it's like every day I have to be somewhere at a certain time, and he has to be 100% cool with that and on board. That's just the boundaries. It's like I'm at work, or I'm at training, or we're together. But like mixing them all up is really messy, and that's something that took us probably like 10 years to nail. Is like, when I step into that gym, there's no more work. Like I don't want to know about it. This is for me to train. And then if I'm at work, I don't want to hear about anything else. So it's like, how do we cut this out? Like, these are my boxes and I'm going to stick in them. But women's brains are like, Tommaso Matt, the pad holder, I'd say he's my main pad holder. If Pamon's not my main pad holder, like our life is a lot better. Like he is the best trainer and I'm so lucky to have him, but if I don't have him as a pad holder, the other areas of my life are better because I get to be his wife again.
Good job. Feel better? We're doing depth jumps onto a box. It's a bit of plyometrics for explosive power. Heavy medicine ball side throws. Again, explosive power, get the nervous system fired up. And then we're going to go into a bit of strength work after that. So it should be exciting. Yeah, should be good. Okay, let's really focus on getting good height and stroke those legs. Go. Good. Drop.
I'll wear my mutton top.
Yeah, I noticed you got the guns
guns
out.
out?
Yeah. Good. Big Aaron. Up. Really good. A little rest. Right, you ready? Fast you can, work. Go. Speed. Go, big push. Go. Leg drop. Fast speed. All the way through. Done. Woo. Great, super dedicated, super focused, comes in, you know, she's focused, comes in, does her work. It's an absolute pleasure. Pretty cool journey really, because, you know, when we first started, I started training her, you know, she was definitely all in that athlete mode, training through pregnancy and then coming out of that, you know, easing back in, you know, we weren't doing any of the stuff we're doing now, so it's a pretty cool journey, you know, for her to go through that, and now she's back lifting same if not better than when she was before, you know, before pregnancy. So it's pretty cool to see that. Last one, into the top, as fast as you can. One, push back, go, leg drop, fast stick, all the way through. Down.
I'm back, baby.
She's back. Into our later exercises, we're looking at preventing injury, any weak muscle groups or areas. We're looking at bulletproofing those. Staying injury free is massive, so that's a big part of the accessory stuff we do. And then normally we like to finish at the moment with a finisher, so working on conditioning, so whether it's the air bike or something along those lines where we're really taxing anaerobic energy systems, and kind of like a 2 to 3 minute kind of rounds, so really finishing off with a tough finisher. Grab your favourite.
Pulls in all the fat.
Alright, we'll put a 10 on. Pretty warm now, so. One rep at the top. Good work. Squeezing the full heart strong. Strong up. 8. Good. Really good. Up strong. 14. Good. We got 6 left. Let's go. Count it down. Last one. Finish it off. You'll finish it off. Up. Good. Well done. That was brutal. What we just did there was called breathing squats. So we did one set of 20 reps, and you have about a 3 or 4 second rest at the top of each set. Okay, so it's a really tough, one of the hardest probably sets you can do on a squat, because you're using a weight you could normally only do for 10 reps, but by having pauses at the top, we can stretch it out to pushing out 20 reps. So it's a really mental challenge just as much as it is physical for the legs and everything. So it's a good one to have at the moment, just for building a lot of resilience and mental toughness. The sets before that, so we did the shoulder press and the leg curls. So we did the eccentric leg curls to strengthen the hamstrings and prevent hamstring injuries and bulletproof the knees. Whitney's had a couple of ACL rehab, so you want to bulletproof the knees from the surgeries. And obviously strengthen the shoulders, so we're doing some 10 reps with dumbbell pressing to keep your shoulders strong and healthy.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me. If it's the once, no need to repeat. Run up on me, watch you fall to your knees. Tip my hat when it's time for the kill. Ain't no beast when you're really real. I am the boss.
Yeah, good session. So Chris is really good at programming, so I'm not too tired. Like he does it enough where my mentality is like, go, 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 go. But then the next day I'll really suffer. So he's really good at keeping it at that perfect amount of volume. And there's some fun stuff in there and some of the boring stuff. So it keeps me engaged but safe. All right, so we're off to the chiro, which is a bit of a weekly thing that me and Pamon do just to kind of keep ourselves feeling good. Because obviously, like, stress with the business, training hard, holding pads, it's just like an hour of absolute hell where he just puts us back to pieces. And the chiro's name's Rob, and he's really good, and he works on quite a few of the fighters now. So we're in safe hands, but it's a session and a half. He kind of just like checks out where my body's at, so he does like a few tests, like getting me to move my neck with the like clinching and taking shots or getting swept. Often what I find is my jaw really suffers, so that'll pull all night and I'll get like quite a lot of referring pain. So he works on straightening all that out. I have a lot of scar tissue on my hamstrings from the surgeries. So he smashes my hamstrings, which is terrible. He does a lot of like dry needling and cupping, and then he'll retest at the end so he knows that like it's all worked. I'm not really sure, but like he's really good and it seems to be working.
Back for me, please. How's your hamstring going?
Yeah, well, they feel good.
Well, that left one in particular.
Yeah, I think you'll probably make a difference.
Pick up for me, please. Relax. Stiff it, mate. Taper, whatever, recover, you can build that ceiling up higher and higher.
Yeah.
You just can't. The thing is, you just can't keep going.
Yeah. You have to take a step back to go forward.
And that's like, especially with the younger guys I've seen so far, they just keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
Well, thinking about like you've seen Mike enough and myself enough, like when your muscles aren't firing and all that, that's a guarding mechanism.
Yeah.
And other muscles have to work a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
Turn your neck this way. Go. Keep going. Keep going. And back. Go. Good. And back.
Okay, you're not supposed to do that now.
Well, it's the movement, so just come down and think about bringing your head down on that shoulder. Okay. Yep. So what's it like working with Whit? Whit is very compliant and awesome to work with. Being an athlete, she understands the benefits of all the rehabilitation stuff we do. Why I do it, it's beneficial for her to stay injury free and stop on top of keeping herself healthy so she can continue her training throughout the days. So the benefits to go through massage, dry needling, all those types of therapies is one, you guys develop a lot of muscle tightness and or weakness and overuse injuries. So to keep on top of those injuries, massage, mobilization work is very advantageous. One, to keep flexibility to reach your end point for punching, kicking,
And what I see a lot of is tight hips and injured shoulders just from overuse. So it's very beneficial to keep your body moving and healthy.
Yeah, really good. Good. Feeling a bit tender, but to be expected after a big week of training. He's a very good therapist to go to once a week and just keep in check. With Muay Thai, it's like really one side dominant. So like your one foot's in front of the other. So you're always using one side a bit more than the other. And that can create a few injuries along the way. So just to kind of like make sure that you're nice and balanced and aligned, and just like releasing muscles or working on your fascia, whatever it is. I don't know, that's his area of expertise. But it just keeps me training. And I definitely feel like when I don't do it, when I like get lazy with my appointments or put it off, I feel it so much. I don't move as well, don't recover as well. I just feel like it's like the icing on the cake. It's just, I'm not myself. So when I have niggles during the week, say like my right trap has been playing up a bit, you feel it all week, and then when they release it, you're like, oh no, now I'm just like going to kind of get back to my normal self. And also it's just like a bit of peace of mind that I'm doing like the right thing for my body, so I can have longevity in the sport. Otherwise you just like get injured and you can't do it, and one small thing leads to a big thing. And that's like what a knee surgery has taught me, is like being proactive is way better than having to take months and months off due to a big surgery. Yeah, so back to the office. So every Friday at 11, so I'm running a bit behind, but that's all right. We sit on kind of like a live Q&A with an amazing content lady, and it's just a good opportunity to kind of like quiz her on what the trends are, what's going on in like the social media world, but also like collaborating with other small businesses. So maybe not gym owners, but ladies that own like floral places or whatever it is, because sometimes what they're doing on their socials or their marketing could really actually benefit us. And this happens once a week, and then it kind of helps us plan for the week ahead. So besides like obviously being a coach, I'm kind of like coordinate all the social media for Champions Gym, which is a bit of a team now. So there's myself, Helen, our PA, helps me coordinate everything, and then we have Pamon, who's a graphic designer as well, and then that's kind of how we work the big ecosystem of marketing at Champions Gym. Normally what we do is we have like a bit of an office coffee. So we have like the gyms, and then we have like a headquarters team, and we call it the creative team, Helen, who's the PA, we've got our merchandise girl, Pamon, and we kind of go out for a coffee once a week and just chat about anything to do besides work. It's a new team as well, so we're just building it up a bit and kind of setting our culture and what we want to do as a team. And then we kind of get to work on projects for the rest of the day. So one of the projects would be our new merchandise range coming out in a few months. So we're doing like a big rebrand, which will be super exciting. So working with our suppliers on like glove designs, what ounce gloves we want to do. And then another one is like a big project that we've just launched called CG Academy. So something that we're really passionate about is like giving careers to people for coaches. And we've just noticed that there's like a big gap in the market. So Pamon's going to be doing some like pad holding courses. And it's something we've wanted to do for ages, and it kind of came out in COVID a bit because we had more time to think about it. So our first one's going to be in early June, and we've just like built out all the back end, which is so time consuming that people would have no idea. So like the Instagram page, the Facebook, like web pages, lead pages, all these things that just take so much time to get right. So we've pretty much nailed all that, and now we're going to really just explode it out there. For me, definitely like peaking at the right time. So the old Whitney would just go like hammer and tong and just wear myself out, but it's not the smartest approach. So making sure I'm the fittest when I need to be, Really big on my recovery, so like getting my sleep is a big thing. Making sure that, you know, I keep my weight loss at a nice pace, not too hard again. Biggest goal is to enjoy it. So like 34, mum now, 3 gyms. This could be, you know, like if not my last fight, one of my last fights. So just like being present in the moment and not thinking about what I need to do at work after, or, you know, like getting hard on myself because I didn't have a good training session. It's like enjoying these little moments, because life is really short and you've got to really just learn to be present. And that's something I kind of wish I did better in my other fights, was learning to have more fun and learning to, you know, like it's okay to make mistakes. I think like one foot in front of the other is probably something that I kind of tell myself a bit, like especially those weeks where your trainers are like on you. The only thing that you can do is right now. Get through that round, get through that run, just get through that next step. And before you know it, you're going to be there. Instead of creating such a big anxiety over how hard it's going to be. If there's something that you want to do, and it's obviously might not be a fight, it might be to fight, it might be to open a business or, you know, go traveling. It's like, just do it, because there's never a perfect time or the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances. You just have to take that action, roll with the mistakes and I suppose like the punches. That's a bit corny. Because if you don't try, you'll forever be thinking, I should have done this. And I love watching people step outside their comfort zones and just give it a shot. It's not perfect the first time, it'll be better the next time. That's kind of like what I'm about.